Hey YouTube, how you all going? Just thought I'd do a follow-up video on what I ate during the world's toughest mudder. I did film my original video on the Friday night, but I didn't get a chance to upload it until today, so that's why it kind of came up after the event, even though it was referring to the event taking place the next day. But I did finish. I did get my black tough mudder, world's toughest mudder headband, and the world's toughest mudder participant t-shirt. I managed to complete 5 laps, lasted the full 24 hours, and went well beyond my, wildest expectations. So yeah, I just thought I'd run through my food. For those of you who haven't seen the previous video, I worked out a plan where I'd be eating about 400 calories per hour. It primarily consisted of like a fruit puree. It's essentially baby food, but the ingredients are all just fruit purees. Energy gel, some dates that I've wrapped in a kind of plastic Ziploc bag, dried cranberries, again they were put in a Ziploc bag, as well as some dried mango, again put in a Ziploc bag. So the plan was just to eat 400 calories per hour, using a combination of those foods that I mentioned. For the first 2 laps, I carried all my food with me. I had a Camelback, different brand, but essentially a Camelback hydration backpack, which also had a pocket. So I took 6 hours worth of food, so 6 packages. Each 400 calories, it was individually wrapped and then also put into another bag. So each bag represented 1 hour. That way, when I got back to the tent, I could just go, okay, I'm going to be 4 hours on this lap, or 5 hours, whatever the case was, grab those bags and take it with me. I did pack essentially 28 individual 1 hour bags. That represented the 24 hours of the world's toughest mudder, plus the 4 additional hours that you could get allocated if you cross the line before 10 AM on Sunday. You were then given until 2 PM to put in another lap. So I didn't know what time I'd be crossing the finish line, so I thought better be safe than sorry and take the full 28 hours. I'd certainly recommend that again. In terms of over-preparing. It's always better to have more food than not enough. As I said, for the first 2 laps, I took all the food with me and I ate it all. And it was, for me in particular, I felt it was really important to keep up my nutrition. I know from training in the past that if I don't eat correctly, I can bonk quite easily after about 30 kilometers, or 15 odd miles. So by eating, I didn't at all throughout the duration of the event feel as though I bonked or had to slow down or stop because of my nutrition. It was kind of spot on in terms of that. By lap 3, I did have some problems start to flare up with my knee. If you've watched my previous videos, I have had some injuries in regard to that. So I did slow for lap 3 and 4, and then by lap 5, I was obviously I wasn't able to pick up the pace again. So on those laps, I didn't necessarily need to eat the 400 calories per hour because I wasn't burning that much energy. So on those occasions, I just kind of ate when I felt necessary, or ate enough that I felt was necessary. So probably around the 200, 250 calories per hour. I also tended, before like lap 5, for example, I stayed in my tent for a couple of hours just to recuperate, and I had like 1 or 2 jam sandwiches throughout that time. So that kind of provided me with the nutrition that I needed to head out there and do another lap. In terms of the food itself, the fruit puree, that worked really well. It's really easy to digest, really easy to carry. It didn't get dirty or anything like that, and you could just squeeze it into your mouth. Winner's gel, energy gel, exactly the same. The dates were excellent, as were the dried cranberries. The one food that was a bit of a letdown was the mango. It's kind of quite a tough food to eat, so when you're on the run, it was a little bit hard to kind of chew and keep going, so you kind of had to slow to a walk or a jog to kind of eat that correctly. A couple of the packs as well, like did get a little bit of water in them. It wasn't too much of an issue. The food stayed relatively clean, but after, like for example on lap 3, I took 4 or 5 packs with me, and by the time I got back, one of the remaining packs that I hadn't eaten entirely was filled with too much mud and water, so I had to dump it, and the food in it. So again, that kind of shows the benefit of packing enough to last as if you're going to run the full 28 or 24 hours, and then that way if you have to stop, you've at least got some spares in case you do need to ditch some because it gets dirty, or if you drop any, it's fine. You also may remember from the video I packed like 7 dates rather than 6, even though 6 equals 100 calories or thereabouts. Again, I found that was a really good idea. On the run, some of them were hard to like squeeze out of the bag, or I dropped some. That way I made sure I was still getting enough food. Same with the cranberries as well. So that's pretty much it, guys, in terms of just my nutrition update. If you haven't watched my first video, I'd definitely just check that out. But in general, I found that eating up to 400 calories per hour worked really well for me. I would recommend you obviously try that out in your training and find the foods that work for you. If I was to do it again, I would definitely plan to have enough food to last the full 28 hours, with the view that, okay, you're probably going to slow down at some point and not need it all, but at least you've got it in case you are able to smash out a heap of laps, and also you've got some redundancy there in case you drop it. The other thing that I mentioned in the video that I had was bananas. Unfortunately, I didn't really eat any of those. I bought them on the way to the raceway park at the last minute, and I had them in the tent, and they went literally black within a couple of hours. I don't know what was wrong with them, but I think maybe the store had kept them in the freezer or something, or fridge, because I know that if you do that to bananas, they can turn black pretty quick. So I only had like 1 or 2 of those throughout the whole event, and then had to ditch them. The other thing, just quickly, I did have, as I said, a hydration backpack. I found that really beneficial because I could carry my water with me and remain hydrated throughout the event. I do tend to also drink a lot of water relative to some other people that I know who do the amount of exercise that I do. So I personally found that beneficial. I also found being able to eat, every 15 minutes very beneficial as well. I did hear some comments on the way out from various competitors that food and nutrition was an area that they felt let them down. If you don't have any way of carrying food, there's no way you can last 4 hours between meals when you're doing an event like this. Maybe if you're walking and having like the very limited snacks they offered every lap, you could just do it. But if you want to run even if you just want to run the first 2 laps, kind of like I did, or go at a fairly constant pace, I definitely think having some form of nutrition on you is a benefit. That's just my thoughts, guys. I just wanted to provide this update to kind of clarify and review how my nutrition went. If you have any comments or questions, just shoot them to me via YouTube, or like my page on Facebook. Alternatively, I do have a website, www.adventurelete.com, and subscribe for more videos. Thanks very much.